Hello, I'm Carly from Carly Says. Thanks for tuning in and watching my video blog. If you like this, feel free to subscribe below or go over to my website, check out the online plaza, do all that bizzo, www.carlysays.com or .au if you want, but they both work. Anywho, so thanks for tuning in. Today I am talking about roller derby. Roller derby is a sport that I took up maybe about 6 months ago, and I really only did it to start with because I thought it'd be fun and a bit of fitness. I wasn't doing any exercise and I thought, oh, that's a good enough thing. And I got talking to a friend who sort of shot down all my objections to it. I was worried about what I would do with the kids and I can bring them and my skill level, and she was like, ugh, don't worry about that. We were all going around the walls to start with, and so she sort of shot down everything that I had, all the excuses, and I hope if you're somewhere where there's a roller derby, they help you do that too, because everybody needs to have a crack. If you've ever skated before, have a crack. And it doesn't matter. The thing that people don't realize about derby is that it's not like it used to be, where it was akin to WWE, back in the 70s and stuff, where they would be punching and fighting. It's very physical, but it's a long time to get to that stage. So when you start with derby, once you're ready and confident on your skates, then you have to achieve 4 levels of accreditation. So this weekend our club did White Star testing, which is the first stage. I unfortunately didn't pass. There were a couple of things that I just couldn't do, and I really wanted to pass, but I think at the same time I would have been disappointed or slightly surprised if I did pass, because the expectation, my thoughts is that to pass it you need to be at a certain level, and I sort of knew I wasn't, but I hoped that I was, if that makes any sense. So anyway, I was a little bit sad that I failed, basically, but that always stings a bit, doesn't it? So so that was all good. So the first level is White Star, and then you have yellow, orange, and then green. And once you've achieved green, then you're allowed to bout, so play a game. So that can take like a really short time. To achieve that is 2 years. So it can be 2 years before you even play a game of derby. So I'm sort of putting that side out of my mind. I don't know whether I'll ever get that far. I'm 40 this year, so I'm just enjoying it for what it is now, which is, I'm increasing muscles that I didn't know I had in places. My inner core strength is improving heaps. My balance is heaps better. It's the only thing I've ever known to be able to do for like 2 hours where I'm sweating and exhausted, and I'm not the whole time thinking, what time is it? Does this finish? I could never do aerobics for 2 hours, or hiking, or, at the gym for 2 hours. Oh my God, it's so boring. That's how I feel about that. So I went along for that purpose, to get a little bit fit, and it was really nailing it for that. But once you start with derby, if you have even a little bit of competitiveness in you, it sucks you in. It's the most, we did a game called Sock Derby, which is a game of derby, but in our shoes. So you take the skates factor out of it, and we loved it. It was so good. And it's the only sport I know that it doesn't matter how short or tall or thin or fat you are, there's a place for you, and there are things that you can be really great at, utilizing what you have, which is cool. It's really cool. And that's the other thing about derby. It just seems to be so diverse, and it doesn't matter how old you are. I'm just a mum from the bush, and well, we all are out here, but it still fits me and there's young professionals in our team, and there's older professionals, and there's young, people that are just doing a sport, and it's really, really diverse. And actually our club is the only club that we know of that doesn't have a gay representation, so that, it's generally kind of anything goes. You can wear anything. It doesn't matter about the brands. It doesn't matter about, any of that stuff. It's very inclusive. And maybe that's just our wonderful Wheat City Derby Angels. But I think it's derby in general. The people are really friendly, and it's kind of cultish, you know. Once you love it, you're like singing the praises and trying to convert everybody. But one of the things that I found really confronting, and sort of, someone messaged me last time about my my squeaky chair. I will resolve that before my next video. I'll try not to move. One of the things that I found the most confronting, and I love this, sometimes it's good to just sail along, but sometimes I like to push my boundaries, and I recently heard this term of just lean into it, like with grief or anything that's hard, you got to just lean into it. And I love that. It's sort of settled in my brain, and I'm trying to use it. But so with Derby, I'm trying to lean into the things that I'm really struggling with, which the most part is my brain. You know, my balance is improving, my strength is improving, all of that is coming along as you'd expect it to. But the hardest bit, I'm a cautious person in general with relationships and taking risks. I make very calculated decisions. And sometimes they might seem like I'm taking a big risk, but I've got a backup plan, I've got a fallback plan. So with Derby, it's hard to do that. You have to just let it go. Your backup plan is you're going to fall down, and hopefully you don't hurt yourself. That's it. And you can't change the backup plan. There's no softening that. It's either you pull it off or you fail. And that's really hard. It's really hard to do. And when I didn't pass the White Star test, I sort of felt a little bit sad. Like I said, it stings. And a friend of mine texts me saying, listen, think how far you've come. You could, you know, you were going around the edges, and now you can do a whole manner of things, and you didn't quite make it, but you're setting a good example for your daughters. And that kind of made me feel, I got a bit teary about that, because I guess it's true. It's a good example to be setting, that you can fall down and you just get back up as quick as you can. In like the you know, sort of the ethics of the game and the culture of the game is really good foundation for life. You're going to get knocked down. Sometimes the hits are going to be hard, and if you just get back up as quick as you can, you'll be okay. And sometimes you get fouled off because you're doing it wrong, and that gets you, you know, like, there's some really good lessons to be learned. But one of the other things that a lot of us find confronting is that there is no such thing as personal space. When you're practicing, you got to get up close and personal. The safety in being close, well, that's how you win the game. If you're close and tight with your other blockers, then the person on the other team that scores, who's called the jammer, can't get through. So you have to just get used to being up close and personal and touching them and sweating on them, and oh, it's wonderful. So I hope everybody is inspired to maybe even consider Derby. And you know what? Even if you think, no effing way, no, screw it, no fucking way am I skating. It's trying to be a little bit precious there. No way am I skating. Then still try and be a part of it, because it's still inclusive and there's a million things you can do. And this is just a great sport that I hope my daughters both get into. My youngest one is looking firmly like she will be, and I would be really happy for her to be a part of this culture and this world. So that's enough for me. I'm going to try and write a blog too about this, but for now this will be what I'm doing and have done, and I've run out of thoughts. All right, thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.